This is the ZTE Axon 30 Ultra, and even though this is an early impressions sort of video, I'm very impressed so far by what this phone can do for the price. It could be a real flagship killer. When it first arrived in the mail, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I mean, I haven't had a ZTE phone in my hands in must be years by now, but I'm really glad that they sent this guy over for review because I think it's a very, very competitive phone. Inside the box, the first thing you're greeted with is the phone itself, which we're gonna come back to in just a sec, because unlike a lot of the modern flagships these days, the Axon 30 Ultra comes with a few goodies inside the box, including a very nice clear case, a 65-watt USB-C fast charger, and a USB-C to 3.5mm headphone dongle. The overall design of the phone is good, if not a little understated. I think it looks very similar to the Note 20 Ultra with that big square camera bump on the back and the flat top and bottom edges, which, to be clear, is not a bad thing at all. The Note 20 Ultra was a great looking phone. The camera bump gives off this nice rainbow effect when the light hits it a certain way, and it's outlined with some NeoVision photography branding. Whatever that means. I will mention here that I actually think the included case makes the phone look a little bit more unique. It gives more definition to the camera bump and makes it stand out a little more. There are 4 cameras on the back of this phone, and the top 3 are all 64 megapixel shooters. There's a 2x portrait lens on the top, a standard wide angle on the middle left, and an ultra wide on the middle right. The square bottom camera is only 8 megapixels, but that is a 5x periscoping camera that can zoom in pretty far. You'll have to wait for my full review video for some camera samples, but from what I've seen so far, it's a decent camera system. The phone feels pretty nice in the hand. It's more comfortable and lighter than both the S21 Ultra and the OnePlus 9 Pro. The phone doesn't feel cheap at all, although I will say it doesn't look like a particularly expensive phone either. Where this phone really shines though is on the front side. The Axon 30 Ultra has a 6.67-inch display, and you're gonna have to bear with me for a second here because it's got a lot going for it. It's an AMOLED panel with 10-bit color that covers 100% of the P3 color gamut. In other words, it's extremely color accurate. It has an under-the-display fingerprint reader that's fast and accurate. The display runs at 144 Hertz, so it's one of the fastest refresh rates out of any phones out there, and it has a 300 Hertz touch sampling rate, making it even more responsive. It is a 1080p screen, but honestly, with all those other specs, I don't even care. I'll take the 144 Hertz and color accuracy over a slightly higher resolution any day of the week. The display has a slight curve over the edges, but nothing too dramatic. It shouldn't lead to any accidental touches, and it has a small hole punch for the front-facing camera, very common for a lot of Android flagships right now. The Axon 30 Ultra also has some pretty top-tier specs, as the name Ultra would imply. It's running the latest and greatest Snapdragon 888 5G and between 8 and 16 gigs of RAM, depending on which model you pick up. The phone runs ZTE's iOS 11, which is a relatively colorful and unique spin on Android 11 that I do actually enjoy for the most part. Another headline feature of the Axon 30 Ultra is the battery and charging situation. As I mentioned earlier, the phone comes with a 65-watt USB-C charger in the box, and it charges the phone ridiculously fast. As soon as you plug it in, you get a little supercharge animation similar to OnePlus's Warp Charge, and you can watch the charge percentage numbers increase very rapidly. The phone has a 4600 mAh battery, which is definitely on the big side of things, although it is a touch smaller than the 5000 mAh battery inside the S21 Ultra. Unfortunately, the phone doesn't come with any sort of wireless charging or any form of water resistance certification, which is a bit of a letdown, but hey, I guess they had to cut a couple of things out to sell the phone at this competitive of a starting price. The Axon 30 Ultra starts at $749 USD for the model I have here, with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. That's gonna undercut the OnePlus 9 Pro by $200, the S21 Plus by $250, and the S21 Ultra by $450. Like I said, it's very early days and I need to test this phone a lot more before I give a final sort of verdict, but the ZTE Axon 30 Ultra is looking like a very strong contender right now. It's got one of the best displays on the market, one of the biggest batteries with super fast charging, 5G and top tier specs, all the while costing less than almost every other similarly spec'd phone. I'm excited to test this one. It could very well be a flagship killer. Keep an eye out for my final review in about a week or two. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.